Hello, darlings. This is the Happy Medium at Phoenix Rises, and as promised, it is the Back to Work series. Getting back to work, getting back up on that horse, just how to's, tips and how to's. Monday's pink. I am just like the rest of y'all. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. I'm tired. I don't want to do it. Job searching sucks. It's just you feel defeated before you even get started. Like, boo. So, so This is a tiny crash course. I'm an expert job hunter. I know how. I can get one. I can get you one, but it takes a little prep work. Okay, it takes a little prep work. You have to be able to muster the mindset to do it. Otherwise, you will procrastinate so hard. It's not even funny. You will find everything else to distract yourself that is not doing that. 1 second, kids. So if you're like most of us, you've at least worked once in your life. And for one reason or another, you haven't been at work and now you have to go back to work. So it's the process all over again. And it could be a number of things blocking you from getting that job. From not having a resume to putting it into just being spread too thin to obstacles, things that are beyond your control or that make you feel like that's going to be the thing that keeps you from getting a job. So when you're all out of whack, you're out of your routine, you're out of your wits, you got no rhyme or reason. It's hard to get uprighted, right? It's hard to get the willpower to do it again. So I have some foolproof notes here that I think is definitely the way. It's a guarantee. It's a guarantee, right? If any of you have seen Storks, you'll understand the 3-step process of make a plan, stick to the plan, always deliver. Well, Monday, the plan is make a plan. On Monday, you already know when you wake up, you should be doing it. Everyone else is getting up, they're going to school, they're going to work, they're doing whatever they're supposed to be doing. And you're like sleeping in, you're like lingering in the house, you're like looking out the curtains at 11 o'clock in the morning, just wondering if it's the mailman or the trash truck, and just fading into the background, just into the abyss. And even though you know you need to do it, like I said, the more you stress about it, the more you kind of like redirect, do anything other than let yourself be swept up and distracted or blobbed out or whatever. We've all got a bad habit, you know? So, you want to start out with a resume. You need a resume because you need something to present, something to work with, a singular thing of your job skills and your former work history that you just hand in. Here's my business card. Here's me. Here's my picture. That's basically what a resume is. This is my placeholder. Take this. So I've made us some cue cards here. Let's find out. Let's do them in order, hopefully. I made them in order when I could see them. But since Monday is kind of like, I don't know, crawling through the dark anyways, this will be fine. This will be fine. I'll sort it out. You guys can wait. Sort it out with me. That's why it's Monday. Because that's what you're going to spend Monday doing, is sorting it out. Look, I have a Monday cheat sheet. You want to know the sad part? It's blank. You need it. You need this card for blank. Okay. Let's see. For the beginning of Monday, you need an online resume. You need an online resume. Let's see what it says. You need the online resume first so that you're getting maximum visibility. That's right, because if you try to go place to place to place, putting in your applications, like who has money for that gas? Like how are you going to get a ride back and forth to every place? It's bananas. You're going to get your foot in more doors by having an online resume. And the best one I've seen so far is Indeed, because you can use a free resume template on Indeed and then download it. And you can download it to just about anything. It's a PDF, so you can download it to your phone, your desktop, your email, your Google Drive. It makes it easier for you to update and pull from drop-down boxes. But basically, once you download it to your computer or your phone or your files, any other job you're on that says upload resume, you can upload that specific resume. So if you use the Indeed one and you use that template and you save that to your files, save it as yourname.resume. That way, when it's saved into your files, it's very easy to identify. You know exactly which one's the one you just saved because it says yourname.resume. And you don't want to put any extra stuff on that because say it uploads exactly like how you highlighted it, and your employer sees it says your name resume. That's it. There's no extra. You're not gonna embarrass yourself. You're not gonna have to be like, oh my God, King Dong 4, what? No, you don't want that. You just want your name dot resume, file name. That way, when you upload file, that's all it says. Make your resume. Now then, the resume is not where you start. Your resume is going to be your base of operations. That's what you're going to keep coming back to and readjusting. Guys, I'm sorry. I really am like everyone else, and I just get distracted. I'm pudding with a heart spoon and a Monster that I shouldn't be drinking at midnight. But old habits die hard. Don't expect to just be like, I'm at work now. The key to finding a job is make it your job to get a job. If you act like you're already at work, looking for work, you're going to find work. You will be working. You will already have gotten in the habit, and basically you'll be working all the way until you start getting paid for it. So, there's some questions to ask because just because you have a resume, just because you have some work history, that's not going to automatically get you a job. What you do want to know, what you want to do is get yourself in the mindset of it's a process. I have to do the process. So, first thing Monday morning. It's the day to make yourself do the process. Make yourself start. No matter how far away from the starting line you are, if you make a definitive start on a Monday, that's it. It's the beginning. So, at the start of the start, where you've decided you're going to go through the process of looking for a job, right? There's some things to bear in mind. First off, what is your current situation? Like, do you live with someone? Do you live alone? Are you trying to move out? Do you have kids with you? What's up? Like, what is your current situation? Versus, what's your current obstacles? Because like I said, do you live with a roommate? Do you live with a new baby? Are you a single parent? I mean, there's some certain things that are definitely going to determine either what hours you work or what type of job you work or the benefits that you need from your job. There's just going to be certain things that you have to assess to make sure you find the right job. Just putting in applications blindly, you might as well be closing your eyes and typing, hit send. You're going to end up with a job that, one, you're not qualified for, or two, it doesn't pay you. Both are bad and a waste of time. So, as you've decided to start this process here, and you have assessed basically your circumstances versus your obstacles, what is your situation now versus what's working against you? Some things to consider on what are your limitations. Are you limited by your skill level? Are you limited by having children at home? Are you limited by having children in school? Are you limited by both of those situations? Are you limited by your work history or gaps in your work history? Is transportation an issue? Do you have access to phone or email for communications? Do you possibly have a criminal record? The pay versus your needs. Even if you take this job and it's close by, is it going to pay enough to actually support you, right? Not just, well, I make money, I've done something, versus your obstacles. Okay, those are the things that might be you just need to work around or work with. A few more things. Medical issues. They might not be an everyday thing, but you may have medical issues where the job you have would really amp up the likelihood of something happening. So you wouldn't want a job that would contradict your medical issues. You need to, go with your own nature, not against it. Driving record. How's your driving record? Do you have any missing identifications, like info, like social security card or birth certificate, or just your IDs? Do you have issues with your family dynamics to where you live with a parent or a sibling or something, and there's a lot of pressure for you to get the job, and if you don't get the job, you're not going to have somewhere to live. So basically, it doesn't matter if you like it or not, you need to take the very first thing available just to protect yourself. Those are real circumstances. There's nothing to be ashamed of here. Mental health issues. Now, there are some jobs better or worse than others for mental health issues. If you know you have high anxiety, you don't need to work in a zoo or a daycare, right? That's what I mean. Account for those things. Personality and attitude. If you are the kind of person who has a little bit of an abrasive personality, or people just find you hard to read, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It just means be aware of that, because you know that's one of those things that kind of counts against you. There are ways to work on all these things, right? These are just things to be aware of that might be you need to accommodate for, or might be the thing blocking you from getting a job. You might be a bad interviewer, you know, that might be an issue. You might lack the resources or finances to be able to go to the place, back and forth to the place. Like, say you're not going to have the gas money to get back and forth to this job, or to these background checks, or to the stuff like that. That would be an issue. Or not being able to afford the uniform. Like, you've got to buy the shoes to start the job, but you can't afford the shoes without starting the job. Those types of issues are real issues. Maybe you can't pass a drug screen. Maybe that's a thing. Like I said, criminal charges of like having felonies or something. Maybe housing is an issue. Maybe you need somewhere to work, but you don't have somewhere to live. It's hard to get a job without an address. I'll be the first to tell you that. And it could be your appearance working against you, like taboos, like piercings, or tattoos and piercings. Just certain looks that are just going to bar you from having a job, like in a certain place. They're just going to look right at you and be like, no, because of this, and no, because of that. Be aware of these things. Be aware of the things that might be working against you. And last but not least, and this is one of the shittiest things, and I would absolutely hope it would not be the reason that you couldn't find a job, but you could actually get blacklisted. You could have such a bad review that you got blacklisted, and one employer told other employers not to hire you for X amount of time. This happens in small towns more than anywhere else, but you can make a bad enough name for yourself that you are excommunicado, like no one will hire you, you're an untouchable. God forbid it come to that, and in that case, you've got to go. You got to commute, dudes. Sorry. But sometimes it's actually none of those things, not your fault at all, and it's a matter of lack of industry. And there just is no way for everyone who lives there to have a job, because there isn't even industry for that. So in the case of lack of opportunity, you could work remotely, or you could do like from home. That might, I mean, work remotely from somewhere else. You're still in your home. You don't have to commute, but you just work remotely from home instead of the travel, and you found something outside of your own town. Aside from that, it could be a job that has high competition, but limited positions. Like, everybody went to law school, but there are only 3 law firms here, right? So you might have to, I don't want to say lower your expectations, because that's not right. I'm saying you might have to pivot. You might have to go something in a similar field, but not quite the same as what you had in mind. We might segue from one thing to the other. Sorry guys, I don't want my pudding to get hot. But I get bored over here. Oops. I'm glad that can't spill. Anywho, your circumstances versus what's working against you. When you got all that mixed up in a pot, it's not, none of those things really do disqualify you, including not being able to pass a drug test. There's ways around everything, all right? Where there's a will, there's a way. You can figure it out. Let's see. We got over our what's nots. And we already talked about why to use the Indeed template, because it's more malleable, it's easy for quick apply. So after we've gone over, what did I say? Our circumstances and our obstacles. Where are we at here? Make your online resume first so that you are getting maximum visibility. Cast a broad net. Use Indeed template, easy to download to the phone, the desktop, the email, and Google Drive as a PDF. Easy to transfer back and forth, to update anytime. Save resume as your name, easier to find in your files and your drop-down boxes. Always use this specific format for applications that allow you to upload the resume. Here's my next one. You do not have to be on Indeed to upload your saved resume to other job boards, including internal applications on company sites. On your resume, make sure your names, your dates, your addresses, and your phone numbers are correct. Save all your edits. Use your needs and skills to determine which jobs to apply to Quick Apply on the Quick Apply tab for your jobs of interest. Just to get your foot in the door, just to get your hook in the water, just to get some bait going. Then you want to make a cheat sheet, okay? After you've done this resume bit on your online resume, you want to physically write down, where are we at here? Your resume. There's a reason for that. The reason you want a physical copy of your resume is because you saved your edits, you utilize your Quick Apply on the tabs Indeed, then you close your gaps in your work history. You make the cheat sheet. And this is why you make a cheat sheet and copy what is on your Indeed one, so that you have it on hand when being questioned on the phone or in person for an interview where you may be asked to fill in an actual application for that company on site. It's for the sake of continuity. You want your online application to look the exact same as your in-person application, so there is no hiccups or questions or burps, right? That's why. And like I said, say that you're going down the list and you're calling employers and you're like, I just want to see if I can get an interview, and they're like, yes. Well, first off, you want to make sure you have the phone number to the place that you're calling, right? And you want to make sure you have the position correct. Say you're calling to be a hostess and you're like, yeah, do you still need a front desk clerk? And they're like, we don't have an opening for front desk clerk. And you're like, oh, I mean hostess. Oh, yeah, let me find you. That's what I mean. Keep it straight. Keep your shit straight, okay? Stay consistent. Continuity is everything. This ensures your continuity, and then after this step, you are finished with Monday. All right, tips on the resume itself. Okay. Like I said, alternatives to not having industry in your town. You could do remote work. You could do self-employed, or you could do supplemental income. You can clean houses. You can watch babies. You can do something. You can do something. You just got to work with what you got. Everything counts as work. You're just not paid for all of it, right? You've been working, trust me. So, if you have... Yes, I forgot this step. When you're trying to do your job hunt itself and you're trying to figure out what type of jobs you want to apply, ask yourself this question. Aside from money, what is it that you want from this job? Everybody wants money. That's why we work. But what do you want the money for? Such as, do you need money for rent, kids, utilities, medicine, transportation, car insurance, driver's license, your tags, your maintenance, your pets, concerts, dates, leisure, trips, savings, education? You want to relocate. Opportunities for promotion. Is networking important? Are the benefits important? Is it for skill building? Do you just want the title of it or the station of it? Or would you like to travel? Or is it for the special programs of the jobs, like vocational or paid training? What is it that what would be more incentive for you to work there that is not just the paycheck? Because the paycheck, a lot of jobs pay very similar, but you can work anywhere for the same dollar amount, so what makes one better than the other? What would draw you in to a certain, what would be the one for you? It was like, yeah, I would do that. Even if they asked like special requests, yeah, I would still do that one because it comes with the extra benefits because the network it plugs me into, like a real bomb ass internship or something. Sometimes payment is the education, or education is the payment, and it's absolutely worth it. Don't think that working for the education, working for the skills is wasted time, because it's certainly not. So that was an important little side note there for a Monday. Okay. For your resume, if you do have a work history, make sure, put your work history or your skill set together in a chronological order. This is a good tip for your resume. Make your resume, put your work history or your skill set together in chronological order from the last 3 years or the last 3 jobs. You can put a minimum of 3 jobs, but I would not put more than 5 jobs. Just period, I wouldn't. That's just too much to look at. Only list 3 to 4 skills on each job. Like, say, clerk. Your skills would be cash handling, POS systems, deposits, restock, and that's it. And then it'll say, when did you work here till when did you quit working here? And then it'll say your reason for leaving. So on your start to finish times, make sure that each job, I don't care if you're flubbing a little bit, okay? If each job, you pretty much stopped this one, you worked January 6th, 2024, all the way till February 11th, 2026. And then your next job, you worked basically February 12th, 2026 till August now. No gaps. And if there are any gaps, and there are temporary gaps, say what you did. Say that you did in-home caregiving. Say that you did transportation services, elderly care, whatever, pet care, child care. The stuff you were taking care of at home that you weren't paid for was still work, and the work you were doing in between times of working at an actual employer. You've still been busy. Just don't leave gaps because it makes them think something happened, that you quit and came back, Fill in those gaps, okay? Even if you're kind of dressing it up, that's all right. They will talk to you in person, and if it's something that's serious, you can just say, we'll discuss on interview. Other than that, close the gaps. Okay, if you do have work history, that's nice. After you've assessed your plan, you have automatically narrowed your search down because you know what you're looking for and what you're needing. So you're only going to be applying to jobs that actually benefit you. You're only going to be putting in for the ones that give you what you need, not just whatever the hell whatever will take you. You're not desperate. You're not just so desperate you'll take whatever. You're not going to scoop bugs off windshields for $1 an hour, right? No, it's not just whatever. It's what will support you. So you've narrowed your search down based on figuring out your own needs and what's working against you. You now know what kind of job is likely to take you versus what you're likely to take, right? You know what I'm saying? So stick to your strengths and know yourself. And when I say know yourself, this is what I mean. Don't try to take a first shift job if you're a night owl. Do not try to take a nighttime job if you're a morning person. Don't try to do third shift when you're morning. The only people who, I don't know, first and third are kind of interchangeable and second is not. Second's in a league of their own. However, look for things that do not upset your natural rhythms, i.e. school, insomnia, oversleeper, night owl, morning person, social versus non-social. Don't try to end up in a group if you're non-social, and don't end up by yourself if you're very social, right? You'll crap out of that job you'll just be miserable. Do you want full-time or part-time? Do you want seasonal? How do you need this to work for you? Get that figured out. So all of Monday, you're pretty much tailoring your resume to what it is you're wanting to apply to. You're figuring out what kind of job you want, and you're setting up your resume nice and neat for that, and then you're making a little hard copy so you can carry that shit around with you. And while you're at it, since you're doing a lot of different job boards and applications and things like that, a lot of times you got to be a new user, and you have to register for that site. So you have to register as a new user, get a user ID and a password, and you're back and forth to your emails a lot. Yeah, it's time consuming. It's going to take a good chunk of your Monday afternoon while you're at it. However, it's just going to serve you well tomorrow when you get back at it. When you're going through your resume and you're putting your portfolio together, if you will, you have the opportunity to create a new space. Like, say you want to change jobs, you can use no history. You can actually apply to some jobs with no work history whatsoever, whether you have it or not, and it doesn't really count against you because they don't give a shit. They will train you, so they don't care if you've worked something like this before or not. It's not relevant. So you can also say apply without a resume. If you have a super jacked up job history with bad references, you're better off to apply without resume. Go ahead and sneak your way into the next job and try to do better. That's the best we got for that one. Let's see what's on the rest of our Monday docket. We're getting through it, friends. Night owls, fruit time. Okay. That's if you have work history. You want to organize your work history. If you do not have work history, you want to apply with your relevant skills. You can figure out which skills to highlight based on the chores you have done, programs you participate in, or skills you would like to learn. Now, basically, if you saw a job on there that you thought you could do, like daycare, and you've watched your brothers and sisters before, well, when it says apply with relevant skills, say you have childcare experience for blank amount of years, and your skill set would be meal prep, hygiene, circle time, or like reading, or you get what I'm saying. It's still a professionally marketable skill. And if you're having a hard time making that sound good, go right ahead over to the Google search bar and use the tool where you can find other words, similar words for the same thing. Like I had an example on here. If you're a stay-at-home mom, that's a child caregiver. If you are a DoorDash person, that's a delivery driver. You need to use words that are match some of the keywords to the jobs available so that you can tailor the resume to be lined up with some of those jobs you saw available. So you don't need work history to figure out what to put on your work history if you're just trying to get matched to those jobs, right? It's easier than it sounds. It just takes a little bit of practice. So, or like I said, apply without job history, period. It doesn't necessarily disqualify you, and it's not really a deterrent for them. Not having a license to do something, a driver's license maybe, but not being licensed to do something already is not an automatic deterrent unless it says it's a requirement. Don't be intimidated by some of the requirements, because where it says optional or would like to have or preferred, it doesn't mean deal breaker if not. Put yourself out there. Put yourself out there. It'll be worth it. All right, kids, I believe that wraps up Monday for us. That was a nice little about 30-minute long segment, about as long as I thought it would be. And I hope that some of these tips and hints and hacks were at least encouraging enough to help get you started. Like, why? I don't want to. I'm overwhelmed. Make a plan. Make a plan, babe. Make a plan. Plan for your plan. You might get distracted. You might start to do this whole little thing, trying to think out your thinks, and the phone keeps ringing. Baby keeps crying. Neighbor comes over. Mom and dad show up. You're going to get distracted. I started to start this on Monday. It's now technically Friday, midnight Friday. And to get my work done, your girl literally had to use the formula that I'm putting in these videos for you to get the work done by Friday. It's a damn shame. We don't all have 24 hours available to ourselves. We don't all only have ourselves counting on us. So you got to tuck it in. You have to stay committed to yourself. You have to be committed to your own growth, and don't let the menagerie of it, don't let the sheer size of the mountain that you're trying to move intimidate you off your block, okay, honey? Because there is something for everyone. For real. Where there's a will, there's a way. And as long as you mean to do this, it will happen. It will be done. Because what you're searching for is searching for you too. And a good worker will always find work. So have a positive attitude. Don't act entitled like they owe it to you. And don't act too desperate like you've already been told no. Like they're just not going to do it. They've already said no. Sorry, kids, it was so warm. I'm still not really sorted out. Anywho, friends, okay. So, that concludes Monday. What you do want to do, like I said, is write down your usernames and passwords on the same paper that's your cheat sheet for your resume, where you make the hard copy resume. Put those usernames, put the job board, the username, and the password that you used on it. Trust me, ain't nobody interested in breaking into your job board and getting a job for you. Most protected password on earth. However, it's hard to remember all those little minute details when you're overwhelmed and you're just trying to get through it. You will get through it. But just stay organized, stay positive, and do little bits at a time. Don't try to... Rome was not built in a day, and you're not going to get a job overnight. You can't hold someone at gunpoint for a job, okay? And I know that the pressure makes it feel like someone's got a gun to our head, but they don't. You will find something. It will be soon. Just make sure that what you find is actually going to support you. Not just piss you off and make you wish you wouldn't have wasted your time in the first place, right? I love you guys. That concludes Monday's session. Make a plan. Tuesday is stick to the plan, and we will discuss sticking to the plan after this. I love you, friends.